Guys, thanks for watching. I wanted to start with a story first before I show the item. Um, the story starts actually back in the year 2014, and I'm just pulling up uh, an email that I received from the seller, so I can reference it when the time's right. Um, I was published by my friend in a publication that he wrote for about my collection. He followed me around at a White Plains baseball card show, which is really cool. So I was published on a um, pretty well-known website and publication, and that was when I was 23, so that was like 3 years ago now. So it was pretty cool, and actually it got me a lot of cards. People read the story or looked it up or found it online and contacted me via the story, just found me somehow, contacted me via the story, and I set up deals with some of those people. One of the people um, that contacted me, this person's father-in-law had just passed away, and they were looking through his belongings and came across an old postcard that he wrote to Hank Greenberg in the 30s. Um, we exchanged a lot of emails. He told me stories about how they came about the postcard and how like his grandfather invited Hank Greenberg to a some event, I guess, and Hank was courteous enough to give a reply and said he couldn't come, but nonetheless, it was a treasured part of this boy and man's collection. Um, Now, at the time when I was negotiating for this, they had no idea really what it was worth, um, but they knew that it had value. I knew that it had value. We really started negotiating at about like 400 um, for the piece, and that was quite high for really what I wanted it for. Um, Eventually, I think at the moment that I was negotiating with them, I I didn't have a ton of expendable income to pay for the card or pay for the item rather. Um, so the deal just kind of fizzled out. There was nothing really happened about it. Um, it kind of ended with him asking like, "Are you no longer interested?" And I kind of just didn't reply, and that was that. So now fast forward until 2017, and I had a random thought on the train, like, I wonder if he still has this item of all this provenance and history in his family. And so I looked back in my emails. Sure enough, I found the email conversation that I had with the man regarding the postcard. I asked him, if it was still available, among other things. It had been years since I had spoken to him, so I just wanted to make sure that he and his family were okay and all that stuff. So, and luckily they still are, which is great. And luckily they still have the postcard. So from still a little more back and forth, we finally agreed to a price. And when it came time to pay for it, they actually didn't have a PayPal account, so I mailed a check in the mail, just old fashioned, which is really funny. And hadn't done that to buy a baseball card or anything like that ever. I've only just done PayPal or bought cards at our show. So they received my check, and then, like I mentioned, it was this man's father-in-law, and I received an email just this past Saturday from the man's daughter, who the postcard really belonged to because her father passed, and he passed along part of his inheritance, of course, I guess, to her. So it was in her possession. So we were really communicating through the man who contacted me. So I want to read you the email first. It goes, Brian, not that long ago, while cleaning out my parents' home and wondering what to do with everything, I just happened to find an article about you and your treasured Hank Greenberg collection on the internet. Seeing that you viewed your collection's purpose as something you'd never intend to sell, and saw it as something sentimental and moral, I thought, maybe that's the best place for this to go. But of course, second and third thoughts intervened, mostly about what my dad would think. In the end, I thought it would be okay with him because of the way you feel about your collection. My dad lost his father when he was 5, so I think Greenberg was more than a hero to him. I know he really treasured this postcard. Just for fun, I thought I'd send along a photograph of Rip Sewell. My mother spelled it wrong, which I haven't opened this up yet, so this will be a surprise for all of us. My dad, brother, and me visiting him at the service station I believe he owned. I wonder if they talked about the fight. Anyway, I hope I haven't been rambling on too much and taking too much of your time, but I think I need to say this all before I send the postcard to a good place. I'd love to know what you think of it. If you email, sharing. If not, that's okay too. With best wishes. So I think that was like when I got that email, I kind of like, it like really put me into perspective, like put it all into perspective that like this was really a very treasured item that was in this man's collection, and it clearly meant a lot to him, and it's very special to be able to have a piece of this family's history, if you would. So I know what the postcard looks like. I know sort of like what this is all about, but I don't know about the photograph that she sent as well. So let me just take a look here and see what we have. Now I'll show you the photograph. Let me see this first. Oh, this is so cool. Wow. It's my first time seeing this. So this is dated July 1952, and this is the photograph of the family with Rip Sewell in Florida. So this was her father, brother, and her, and I guess Rip is the larger gentleman. Very amazing. Wow. Awesome. So cool. Now I want to show the postcard as well. They had it, I think, in a frame. It's so amazing. They had it, I think, in a frame. But I told them I didn't really want the frame, and I had to kind of advise them about how to ship it because they really had no idea. They thought they were just like going to take it out and ship it into like a CD envelope, one of like those ones. But I said if you could like sandwich it between two pieces of cardboard, and put it like in a bubble envelope, that would be more than amazing. So I wanted to first see the front of the postcard here. Let's see if I can get a good image of this. I'm not familiar as much with the postcards as I am the baseball cards, as I probably should be. But this is, it doesn't really say here. I just really enjoyed the facsimile signature here. Best wishes, Hank Greenberg. And nice photograph of him. I really haven't seen this photograph before. Now on the back, so Ed, who Eddie, the father, I guess, in the picture, the man in the middle, wrote back in the 30s to Hank to ask him, like I said, about attending this boys club. An event, I guess. So I don't have the correspondence from Eddie, but I have it from Hank. It said, "Dear Ed, thanks for your letter. Sorry I can't be with you at the boys club. Maybe some other time. Your pal, Hank Greenberg." It's So cool. And it's addressed to him, and it's postmarked May 20th, 1936. It's so amazing. Check that out. It's like a piece of history. This family's history. It's so freaking cool. Now it's sandwiched between uh, this cardboard, so I don't know if it's like glued in here or something, but they just really took it out of the frame and sent it. So I might have to try and figure out how to get this out if I want to slab it. Um, but it's so cool. He signed it. Check that out. And look at the address, like how he addressed it. Like if like where would this go today? City. Where? Where is that? You know? Like how do you find out where that is? I just think it's so cool. Look at the front of it again. It's so amazing. And it's been now like 3 years since I first saw it, and it's from 1936. Dear Ed, thanks for your letter. Sorry I can't be with you at the boys' club. Maybe some other time. Your pal Hank Greenberg. It's so cool. This is probably one of the coolest items I've added to my collection. I'm not, like I add like a lot of rare, expensive, valuable cards, but something like this is just like it just means a little bit more, I think, because they're like I know the whole history behind it, and I just think it's amazing. Um, so I'm not sure any other recent pickups may. I don't have anything else to show you, but I'm not sure any other recent pickups might top this one. This one is really really special, I think. Um, so I'll let you all go. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a long video just to show a couple things here, but I think it was important to touch on all the things that were part of this transaction because I think they're all very important and significant. So I'll actually leave the link of the description in the description of this video to the article that was written about my collection. So if you're interested in reading it, it's actually written pretty well. It's written by my high school friend, so it was pretty cool. Anyway, thanks guys, and talk to you all next time.